What up everyone, Shark here. Welcome back to the channel. As we're looking forward to the 2.0 update, I've been scouring the CoH universe and CoDB replays to try to find games that are a little bit more like off the wall, off meta, and interesting for us to watch together to see what we can learn as we get ready for some of those new heavy tanks. So this one, I've got Top3Control from Great Britain playing the Brits. He's ranked 38. And then Seocheon from South Korea working on his DAK gameplay. We're on Twin Beaches, which, as you know, is a little bit of an interesting map from a resource point of view. I like this matchup. I like what the players do, and I hope you enjoy this one. Okay, so Seocheon, the DAK player, up here in blue, starting at the top of the map. And then opposite him, Top3Control, British player in red down here. So we're seeing double sapper straight into the section command post. Pretty standard. And then Seocheon, based on CoH3 and Panzer Pioneers. So I would guess he's going to go with a more mechanized approach. So this map, we've seen a lot of it. I think this map gives DAK and Wehrmacht the best chance to deal with allies in 1v1 and some of the map control. It's a little bit narrower, but there's some more defined paths, and there's enough resources because there's so much fuel in the field, right? You get a +10 right next to your base, that I think it allows Axis players to continue to tech even if they don't have crazy early map control. It's not as punishing as something like Pacino Stalemate, where you can essentially be completely cut off early. Okay, third Panzer Pioneer coming out. CoH3 going for the +10 fuel. Top3Control going for Infantry section. And so we'll kind of see where he goes from here. Neither side has chosen a battle group. Yeah, this CoH3 actually in a bad spot with the sappers. I feel like people are used to the CoH3 not being able to back up now. I feel like you don't see as many of the CoH3 sitting still and just eating a bunch of rounds like it used to, and when they took away the reverse function initially. The one thing you got to watch is the CoH3 will turn around and face to engage, which then it has to turn to drive away. So occasionally you can get caught out of position if you let it auto attack. And Seocheon's going to take this CoH3 to the rear, it looks like, where it can repair a little bit. You doesn't want to take too many more shots. Yeah. Oh, Panzer Pioneers drop a couple of these sappers. 4 Panzer Pioneers. Yeah, the sappers still do enough damage. And so Top3Control is going to take good map control here. Enemy troops have engaged. Yeah, Panzer Pioneers force the sappers to retreat, but yeah, now this infantry section going to challenge them. 2 sections out for Top3Control, and he's really focused. He's leaned on the kind of the north side of the map, and there's a ton of resources here, so this is smart. Obviously you're like not picking up VPs and this +10 fuel here. But this is a lot. That's enough to tech, get something like an early Humber, and just really abuse your opponent. Seocheon trying to spread out with the Panzer Pioneers. And both these guys, very talented, very high APM players. So I am kind of excited to see how this one plays out. Yeah, and I like Top3Control. If you see, he's got his infantry sections here in the middle. This one doing the capping. It'll hold up to, one-off engagements with these Pioneers. What it won't be able to do right now until he gets infantry training is scale against multiple Panzer Pioneers supported by the CoH3. Infantry section chooses to close to get into green cover, and I don't think this is going to work out. Yeah, they retreat. 4 Panzer Pioneers, and even the sappers immediately retreat, which I think is smart, right? Recognizing you're not going to win that engagement. You see Top3Control pushing on the opposite side of the map, right? Good map awareness. Going for a third section. And now Seocheon's got his light support company out and first MG34 hitting the field, which is ironic because he's the one kind of massing infantry early. You think maybe a Vickers or something to kind of manage these Pioneers. And I am worried for Top3Control about when this CoH3 hits Vet 1 and starts to be able to use the tracer fire ability. Yeah, this section retreats. And Seocheon already going for his med truck, which I think is smart, considering he's taken a lot of damage, but not a lot of casualties so far. Yeah, so you see Top3Control now adjusting, right? He's keeping his forces a little bit closer together to deal with the mass pioneer supported by the CoH3. I thought they were laying a mine here because they're standing, but I guess not. Section in the building. Yeah, forces the pioneers away. These garrisons, sections in these garrisons are going to be really strong. Top3Control's got quite a bit of fuel built up. Not quite enough to go straight from platoon command post into a Humber, but almost. Yeah, there he goes. Platoon command post on the way. Focusing on fuel control here, fuel harassment rather than VPs. I understand. And oh, nice mine over here. I think the claims, yeah, two of the three remaining models. Seocheon looks like he's going for the grenade launcher upgrades on at least one of his Panzer Pyos. Man, and these Pyos just holding up really, really well. And yeah, I haven't seen the veteran squad leaders upgrade yet, but that will also help the Panzer Pioneers hold up. And Seocheon, if he is going to go heavy into GB39s, he is going to need at least one of these plus 16 munitions. I wonder, this grenade launcher is not firing. This is kind of weird. There's like one model shooting. All right, there they adjust. Yeah, look at how much damage that does. I think because a lot of the models are in the AoE there as it fires. And yeah, Top3Control's got to get those guys out. And yeah, there you see the med tent coming. He's got an AT gun out. I think this is a smart choice, first choice from tier 2. He's just got to be a little bit careful about getting overrun. All these pioneers on the field, and now MG34s as well. The biggest weakness that Seocheon has is he doesn't really have any anti-vehicle. The GB39, it's okay, but if you have good micro and you move your vehicles around, it won't really impact that. Oh, Sapper's caught. 6-pounder whiffs its first shot. Sapper's gonna get away. And then Top3Control going for a Bren upgrade on his first infantry section. Yeah, all these pioneers on the field, you'd think one of them would have a minesweeper. So good mine placement from Top3Control. 6-pounder is trying to set up in a position to support these sections because the flak filling is on the field, and the flak filling will be a problem. This is a lot of suppression for Seocheon against a very infantry-heavy build from Top3Control. So I wonder if we're going to see a Stewart or a Humber sometime soon. Humber is a great counter. Oh, nice shot from the 6-pounder to smoke the CoH3, and that's actually a pretty decent pickup. Multiple engagements here. The section's got to be careful. They will start to bleed to this GB39 even though they're in cover. And the accuracy on the GB39, you saw all of those. Yeah, you can actually see the scatter. 2 right on the section. I wonder what Control is thinking here. 8-minute mark. We're getting a little late for the Humber. Although I still think that would be a good counter to what Seocheon has built here and allow him to kind of spread out the map. These MG34s are going to start. Oh my gosh, a third MG34. But excellent mines allow him to hold on to that plus 10 fuel. All right, 1 Panzer Pioneer upgraded with a sweeper. Blackverling remains in the back. This section is just going to hold on to this plus 16. But this is still, look at the munitions that Seocheon has, right? 10, 20, 25, 41. So every 2 minutes he can basically get another Granat Buchsat. That's wild. And now he's got the fuel for his tier 4. Sappers find the flak filling and just immediately retreat. This is something I see quite a bit from some very, very high level players, is like one-off engagements. They'll just immediately retreat to avoid taking even damage. And saving on that manpower bleed helps you in the late game. The other thing, Seocheon, because he owns this 5th fuel point, I think he's getting a position where he can tech a little faster than Top3Control. So, honestly, we see a lot of like, I feel like he's just like consolidating here. And meanwhile, oh my gosh, all these MG34s. Seocheon going for tier 4. And so Seocheon's also chosen the Italian Infantry Battlegroup, so he has access to the Guastatori. He's going for the Sound the Alarm, which I think basically prevents the territory from being captured. A little bit of a pause here, and then you see Top3Control's moving towards, on the beach side. I know there are 2 beaches, sorry. The south side of the map, towards the lighthouse, and I think he's going to try to make a push onto the munitions, fuel, and VPs. Actually, 2 pushes simultaneously. They immediately find that MG34 and back away. Okay, so Top3Control's locked in air and sea. Six-pounder moving up. It is semi-supported. You got sections on the flank and sappers. And it's actually, I like this. He moves up and sets it up rather than doing the attack move. Oh, sound the alarm. I think that'll, yeah, prevent us from capturing. Oh, this is why Seocheon went this battle group. Because he gets the defensive bonus for all his team weapons. And so since he has 3 MG34s, they're going to be even harder to deal with. Nice smoke from the Panzer Pioneers. Prevent the Vickers from turning this engagement. Another GB39 coming. Section in the building doing some work, but is taking quite a bit of damage. Oh, 6-pounder gets a shot off. No follow-up shot, just on the edge of the range. Bren section tangling with Pioneers here on the flank. They're in nice and close. The GB39 does have a minimum range, so they force the Pioneers away. An MG34 is coming out to support and deal with this section. Wow, Top3Control has a ton of resources banked up. He's going for the infantry training, which is a smart choice. Second, the 6-pounder. Seocheon going for armored reserves. And getting a flak 88. Oh, man. So the flak 88 with the defensive positions buff is very, very hard to clear. Alright, MG34 pushed out of position here by the sappers who are on the flank. So it looks like Control is going to be able to take this central fuel here. Flak filling is rotated over, so the sappers now probably not actually going to be able to get this cap off. There's a 6-pounder coming, but it's going to arrive a little bit too late. And now, sound the alarm. Freezes the cap. Oh, that's got to be super tilting. Yeah, and they get a defensive bonus on the point, it looks like. Oh, these sappers, they'll get away as the Pioneers retreat as well. Control has teched the grenade package. Oh man, look at all of these GB39 Pioneers. The Vickers basically suppresses just one of them and is now eating grenades. A little bit of AoE suppression, but yeah, so the Vickers forced to retreat from the lighthouse. Kind of a wild series of engagements. Now a Centaur for Control. So rather than build his tier 4, and I like that Centaur is a great counter to these grenade pioneers, because the GP39 is not going to do any damage to it, and in all honesty, neither will the flak filling. The 88, however, deal with the Centaur, and Seocheon has got enough resources for the P4 assault group as well. Centaur out here just kind of cleaning up the DAK units on the flank. Oh, unfortunately, this section not on the VP. MG34 coming over to capture. Actually, 2 MG34s. Oh, if the MG34s, yeah, they're just going to start to back up. But the boys AT rifles take away a lot of that anti-infantry DPS. Except for that one. Oh, poor guy smoked by a boys rifle. That guy too. Relic, I thought we nerfed the anti-infantry accuracy on the boys AT. Alright, so MG34 retreats. Centaur rotating over. Yeah, P4 hits the field supported by assault grenadiers. And now Top3Control being extremely patient. Oh, the sappers, yeah, force away those pioneers. Centaur are going to force away the MG34 here. Interested in the Flak 36 and how Seocheon uses this, because it's very powerful, but it also can be really difficult to micro, especially in 1v1s. You have to constantly move it around to keep it active. Yeah, and then with the 2 boys AT, this section going to do less and less damage. P4 moves up. They just need to get out of there. They could get chased down on retreat. Oh, Centaur immediately takes a Flak 36 round. Section going to remain here, try to cap this field point. Oh, grenade assault coming in. Good dodge. Assault grenadiers retreat. No 6-pounder in support though. Yeah, multiple engagements. 6-pounder moving up to try to get the flak for lane, but is going to get contested by these pioneers. Vickers suppresses the first squad to come up, and more MG34s coming. Meanwhile, Seocheon harassing on the south end. Top3Control's fuel. Top3Control, what did he spend his fuel on? Oh, he got a second Centaur. Interesting. I wonder how he feels about that now that the P4 and the Flak 36 are on the field. I found the Centaur to be just a little slow. 2 of them together, though, that could be pretty powerful. Oh, huge hits onto those pioneers, but no models dropped, and they're going to be able to retreat. Sappers move up to try to clear the Flak 36, and actually they're going to be able to do a ton of damage here. Well, in theory, the damage reduction from the battle group. They're just standing there, these guys just eating rounds, and now an MG34 is going to suppress. And the utility truck arrives to pack up the Flak 36. 6-pounder in place to support the Centaurs against the P4. So Control's not out of this yet. He's a little down on VPs. KD is even, which would tell you that Top3Control is doing a good job of managing Seocheon's units. The problem is, in my mind, some of the tech. Vehicle survival package, armored reserves. So not a lot of DAK tech, and so maybe the KD in Control's favor really helping him manage that threat. But the fact that armored reserves is already out, tier 4 is already out, Seocheon's had good fuel control. In a couple minutes we can see a second P4. So if Control can't get a couple of kills here, I think the late game DAK units will probably start to overwhelm.
The enemy has dropped to 300 points. The fight continues.
I mean, Brits also have a very good late game. Yeah, this section against 2 Panzer Pioneer squads with grenade launchers forced to retreat. Even with infantry training. A 3rd Centaur on the field. So I think he's decided this is his option. This is what he's going to do here. But as the DAK start to amass some late game armor, I mean, he's going to have to build a tier 4 eventually. Unless he just plans on using 6-pounders, which will be able to deal with everything but the Tiger, I think. Section thinks about a rifle grenade, but decides against it with the flak filling in place. Looks like we're going to see a big combined Centaur push on the north side. But Seocheon's doing a good job. So he's got his flak filling and his flak 36 on the north side of the map to help him hold this VP and this fuel. And then his P4, while it's relatively static, on the south side of the map, holding that other VP and supporting Panzer Pioneers as they harass. And he's at 84 pop, so good army composition. Oh man, a couple of hits come in on the flak filling. Centaurs come in. Oh, flak 36 takes hit. Flak filling goes down. Centaur is targeting the utility truck and trying to out-rotate the flak 36. All these MG34s suppressing the sappers as they try to push with. Flak 36 almost cleared. Now it's cleared, but and the 6-pounders in place to do damage to this P4. One Centaur goes down. He also lost a sapper section. The smoke from the P4 forces the 6-pounders to kind of readjust. They destroy the flak 36, which I think is a brilliant move. And he just leaves them in place and leaves them set up. Again, if he had him on attack move, that's when they started to pack up and move again. Attack round at the P4. P4 is going to back up and repair. So good push. A Centaur and a sapper section traded out for the flak filling and the flak 36. I think Control will take that trade. The big thing he needs to do is try to capitalize in terms of resources. If he builds his tier 4, he can eventually refit those Centaurs and go for some other vehicles. Seocheon has now unlocked the registered artillery, so that's something else that Top 3 Control's got to look out for. Rifle grenade comes in, but good dodge by the Pioneers, and now MG34 suppressing infantry sections. Man, the MG34 play from Seocheon has been really good at managing the threat from these infantry sections. Oh, Centaurs catch a couple of Pio squads on retreat. One goes down and drops a grenade launcher. Looks like they're not going to pursue the other one, but he's got to send something to pick up that GB39 or it'll just get picked up by another Pioneer squad. Maybe the one with the minesweeper can pick it up and then they'll be dual wielding. P4 finds the Centaurs, they're forced to back up again. Yeah, no new construction here from Top 3 Control. And Seocheon is also floating some resources, so Tiger is definitely coming. Yeah, and the Centaurs not equipped to deal with the Tiger. A couple of Crusaders paired with the AT guns might be a good kind of soft counter to the Tiger. Wow. The 6-pounders knock the P4 all the way down to a sliver of health, but the Tiger hits the field. And DAK have the advantage in VPs, and a third Centaur for Top 3 Control. I think he's going to regret this as soon as, hopefully, he sees the Tiger and immediately reacts. Like with these MG34s and then all the utility from the Pioneers, his infantry section is just not as effective as you'd like. And actually, he lost one of them. Yeah, plus you can see the damage reduction from the battle group ability helping these MG34s stay alive. Tiger finally reveals itself, taking a shot at the Vickers. Oh, one more shot, this Vickers could go down. Fortunately for Top 3 Control, it whiffs. Ooh. Vickers cleared. Centaurs going for the Pioneer squad, but they're not able to finish it. P4 comes to challenge. 6-pounders chip away at it. It pops smoke. The third Centaur going for the utility truck on the flank. But he's got to be careful. The Tiger now forced to spin around. Oh, look at this converging play from the Centaurs. One Centaur considers going for the base side. The P4 finds it. The other two annihilate another Pioneer squad. And I wonder if he's just going to push here. This Centaur's almost certainly done between the P4 and the Tiger. Yeah, knocked out P4 and Tiger, but the two Centaurs in the base sector here clear an MG34, and now Seocheon forced to move all of his units away. 6-pounder in place, bounces a shot against the Tiger. Centaurs now are going to try to get out. Sections here to snare. 6-pounder cleared. So Sticky coming onto the P4, not enough to engine crit. Registered artillery coming in. Oh no, that's going to be a rough retreat path for those infantry. Oh, one section goes down. The Bren section escapes. Rocket run called in on the Tiger. It's a rocket loiter. Unfortunately, P4 is outside the circle. Tiger about to be outside the circle. Rocket loiter not super useful unless the vehicle's critted. And this Centaur is going to go down as well. Man, the rockets hit the Tiger, but Control is going to surrender. All right, starting off the build order review here with Top3Control. Goes 2 sapper start, which I think is pretty standard, into the section command post. 2 infantry sections, grenade tech, eventually gets a 3rd. You can tell he's worried about light vehicles from DAK, the early grenade tech. That I don't think that's a bad idea. One of his sections, he ends up getting a boy's AT rifle. I think that is a reaction to the flak furling, and again, makes sense, but also essentially neuters that infantry section later in the game, especially with kind of the wonky way Seocheon was playing. You can go either way here. Some players, if they build a boys section, will get another one out for more anti-infantry firepower. But the way that Seocheon was playing with the GB39 Pioneers and MG34s, I can see why Top3Control didn't want to invest into more infantry at that point. He gets platoon command post up, gets 2 AT guns out, then goes for a Vickers machine gun, which does some work. But again, the GB39s kind of deal with the Vickers. It's a little goofy, but not only do the GB39s do damage at range, when they're suppressed, I think their range stays the same. They just get increased scatter. They have also the ability to use a smoke grenade from the GB39. So the Vickers probably not as effective as Top3Control would have liked, but I don't necessarily think he has any other options, right? At some point, you need the crowd control tools to push those Pioneers back. He goes for the infantry training, which helps his infantry stand up a little bit more. I think if you're playing with infantry heavy build with Brits, it's an absolute must-have, especially in 1v1s. The incoming damage reduction and increased rate of fire, very much worth it. And then he goes Air and Sea Battlegroup, and it appears to me that he chooses this battle group because he thinks Centaurs are the answer. You see here he builds 4 of them, only has 3 on the field at a time. And we'll talk a little bit about employment, but they are doing a lot of really good work for him until really the Tiger hits the field. So real quick, just looking at the battle group, obviously he goes for the kind of the field fortifications, the cheaper resource cache, the infirmary over the naval blockade on the left-hand side, Centaur 4, and then he unlocks the commandos. The commando support section doesn't end up getting them out. I don't think in this case they would have arrived too late, and I don't know that it would have really helped him all that much. And then he gets the Hawker Typhoon Loiter, which can be good if you engine crit the vehicles, right? If they can still move at full speed, especially the DAK with the potential for the rapid advance upgrades, becomes a lot less useful compared to some of the Axis Loiters. The biggest thing here, and I can I'm going to address it because I think it's a build order issue. I don't know that. I think the Centaurs early were the right choice, and you saw this because of the way he had that big Centaur flank, knocked out the Flak 36, knocked out the Flak Furling. Those are actually huge pickups at the cost of just a Centaur and some infantry. I think as soon as the Tiger hits the field, if it's me, because the Brits get the full withdrawal and refit, I immediately tech tier 4, refit both of or the 3 remaining Centaurs, and start thinking about going for Crusaders. Right, Matilda's not going to stand up. Even a Grant is going to struggle a little bit against a Tiger and a P4, and there's the extra side tech, so you got to really wait for the building to build, then the side tech, then you start getting them out. That's too long. But a pack of 3 or 4 Crusaders, which you could afford at that point, now you can challenge the P4. You can still deal with all the GB39 Pioneers and the MG34s because they can't counter it. the fire rate's super high, and you get that speed to kind of adjust around the map. And I think that he was probably feeling a little bit of VP pressure. He goes for kind of the big killing blow to the Centaurs, which I really like. The problem is they're not fast enough to escape after he comes in and does damage on the base. So I think it's a good build order, good reactive build order to what Seocheon was doing. That would be my approach in the late game. The only thing I'd really shift, you can tell from his micro that he knows what he's doing. He was still very much in that game until he kind of threw all of his chips in at the end. So I know a little bit of like post-match there, but I think because it's so relevant to the build order, I wanted to hit that here. Okay, so now we're getting into Seocheon's build order, which, so he sent me this replay and he told me, he's like, I wanted to try a different build. He said a 1919 style build. And so when I loaded up the replay and he's playing against the Brits, I was like, wait, I thought this was a 1919 counter. No, actually what he was trying to do is use the battle group and DAK MG34s to simulate 1919. So I'll get to that here in a minute, but I understand now that I've watched it, and I kind of like this. I thought it was different. So that's why I wanted to highlight this. 4 Panzer Pioneers and a Krodschützen. That's a lot of map control, right? So the problem that he's addressing here is the ability for allies to kind of spread out and win the early game engagements. He's getting that ability as well with all of his units. Panzer Pioneers, it's kind of a toss-up versus Sappers. If they can stay at range, if the Sappers close, they lose. They should lose infantry sections, but if you can get numbers, you can win. So makes sense. Early light support company into 3 HMGs, the MG34s, and a flak-filling. So that's a lot of suppressive power, which again helps you deal with the allied infantry. But what makes the MG34s really, really work here is the prepared positions ability from the battle group. It's the green shield icon on the right side of defensive warfare. So what this provides to all team weapons and emplacements for the DAK, it's +7 vision and a 33% incoming damage reduction. And ironically, this is the same as the M1919 from the USF machine gun if you choose the improved positions vet 1 choice. 33% incoming damage reduction, not target size. So that allows those MG34s to be much more durable, the Flak 36 as well, which resulted in that like wonky engagement where the Sappers are standing on the Flak 36 shooting at the crew members who aren't even wearing shirts and they're just eating bullets and not dying. So that's the strategy. And so with that, what he's trying to do, initially resist the map control kind of flood that the allies are normally capable of, then spread out, use suppression to force Top3Control to continually retreat, take control of the map, and then pivot into his late game. So here you see the vehicle survival package, tier 4 armored reserves, Flak 36, into a Panzer IV assault group, and Tiger 1 with the emergency repair kits also tech. So vehicle heavy tech choices. He's got the map control. He's got the fuel. He has a lot of the utility with the Pioneers across the map, a lot of suppression to deal with British infantry. Now he goes for the DAK heavy armor to deal with the British vehicles. It's a pretty complete build. Again, the micro requirement of it is pretty high, right? Microwing 3 machine guns, 4 Pioneers, and a couple of vehicles. Really challenging to do well, but it is effective, and you see it kind of forces Top3Control to make some really tough choices in his own build. So looking at the battle group, again, unlocks Squastatori late, doesn't use them, does use a registered artillery. I want to highlight there was that engagement at the end of the game where he's got the Brit infantry sections are on the far side of that victory point. He calls in the registered artillery, and now they're forced to choose either retreat through that, which they end up doing, or stay and fight vehicles, which they're going to lose to anyway. So it creates a little dilemma for Top3Control, gets him an infantry section wipe. Great play there. On the right-hand side, sound the alarm, which also I characterized incorrectly during the cast. So sound the alarm has been changed. I forget when it got changed. That's on me. Now what it does is provides increased vision around a capture point, makes the capture point take 2.5 times longer to decapture, and provides a buff to infantry within that circle. So the buff is plus 50% rate of fire and 20% harder to hit, which means target size, not damage reduction. Pretty solid buff. But now what it means is you can't just stop your opponent from decapturing a point, but if you have units around, they will hold longer. So him using that on that center plus 10 fuel is a really, really smart idea. This combined with the prepared positions for the MG34s, really, 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 really sharp. Then finally unlocks the Obiche barrage. I don't recall him using it in the game, but he really uses this battle group well and in a way that you don't normally see. Most people with this battle group you see focus on the Guastatori. So pretty cool to see the build here from Seocheon. All right, so there's not a whole lot more to say here. I think I hit a lot in the build order because I think this is really like a build order centric match. Both these guys pretty evenly matched, really good micro and really good map awareness across the board. I think what makes this one more unique or valuable to me, or more instructive, I guess I'd say, is that Seocheon designed a build that allowed him to take more map control and survive until the late game. And you could tell that Top3Control just wasn't quite sure how to deal with it, right? The AT guns were a good choice. The Centaur in the middle was a good choice, but it was still challenging for him to manage the number of units that Seocheon had across the field, the amount of suppression that he could generate. And then he was just inflicting some bleed that prevented Top3Control from really getting where he wanted to go with a lot of his units and his build. So he had him on the back foot from like a build strategy perspective, and that can be really powerful because if you're not really sure how to play, then you're always reacting, and then you can get forced into some really unfortunate choices. So that's really all I have here. I thought it was really interesting. I know you don't see Italian infantry used this way very much, but I think it's something that we might see more of in the future, just in time for a new patch and for all this stuff to maybe be a little bit less viable. But good to keep in mind when you're dealing with the new US and UK battle groups here in hopefully a week or two. So that's all I got today. Thanks everyone, and we'll see y'all in the next one.